Hello, everybody. It is me, Demetra K, and I hope that you are having a great day. And yes, I realize that it is, I guess, Valentine's Day from what they tell me, February 14th. So if that's what you're doing out there, celebrating Valentine's, happy Valentine's Day to you. For me, I think every day should be a day of love where you express yourself to somebody, maybe not through words, but through actions, right? I think actions, as they say, speak louder than words. So to hear I love you is nice. It works for a lot of people, but it's what you're actually doing to show love. For me, that's most important. So anyway, happy Valentine's Day to you. I should also say that the purpose of the Demetra K Show is to promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people, with the emphasis on even, because we're great people, but we can always strive to do better. I'd like to say a big giant thank you, hello, and welcome to YouTube and Facebook. You are the other side of the conversation. Not only are you viewers, but you are participants. I don't think I shared the link today because I'm by myself, and sometimes, some strange things happen. And I wouldn't want to leave you up here by yourself. I don't know. Y'all probably could, man the ship, but I wouldn't want to leave you to that. Nevertheless, today we're going to have a conversation that's been had all over the internet, I think. But if not, we're definitely going to have it here. I won't be here too long, as I have a lot of stuff to do today. But it's in regards to a homeless Detroit mother of five facing the unthinkable. And I'll get into that in just a few. I want to give everybody a moment to come on here so we can have this conversation amongst ourselves. So let's see who is here so far. Mike Nice, how are you doing? Hope you're doing well. And y'all want to throw in the chat if you have any plans for Valentine's Day. I'd be more than interested to see what you guys are doing today. Nona Jones, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Brother Don, my triple OG moderator, I hope you're having a fabulous day. And Gary Mack, what is going on with you? So as I said, we'll give everybody just about a couple, like 30 more seconds or so to come on here. But as I said, for me, I think about my mom. I don't know why she comes up in as far as Valentine's Day is concerned. My mom is gone. She's been passed away about, I think, 8 years now at this point. But she wasn't one to say I love you much. Just don't, remember her saying it a lot. But she sure did show us, when I say us, my siblings and I, that she did love us by the things that she did, right? Her actions, and a whole host of other things. I'm not sure why she never really said, I love you much, but I felt loved by her. I guess that's what I'm saying. Because I know a lot of times people think, oh, well, you didn't tell me you love me. It's like, okay, did I pay the light bill this month? Were you able to see it just fine? Yeah. Well, that's a sign of love. Did I get out there and work really hard so that you can have a roof over your head? Yeah, you did that. Well, I love you. That's a sign of love. But again, on the other hand, my father, who is still with us, he says, I love you all the time. Every time I, talk to him on the phone, which is, pretty much daily, I say, I love you, daddy. And he says, I love you too, daughter, or, vice versa. So on that hand, I have a father who shows me that he loves me, and he also says it every day. So, pick your sign of love, if you will. So anyway, I think I've tap danced long enough. Who else is on here? Multifaceted me, how you doing? Same to you. S Edgy, how you doing? Obi Bay, what's going on with you? That guy from Texas, how you doing? Bakari, how you doing? Thank you. Nashawn, how are you? Yes, I'm still on the diaspora. I didn't have anything come out, I think yesterday or today, maybe today, but I will have some more videos coming up. I'm just waiting for them to come back to me. So yeah, I'm still on there. And Emancipation Media, if you want to check that out as well. CJ, how you doing? Okay, so here we go. I don't know if you guys have seen this particular story that has been trending, but it's of a Detroit mother of five. Her name is Tatiana Williams, and she was homeless. And she was sleeping in a van with five of her children, her mother, and two siblings. Now, it sounds like, she was in that van for a couple of months or so. And it was on the night in question, 10 degrees in the outside, right? And so she decided to park. I think it's like a Hollywood park and casino type of thing. She decided to park in the parking structure. She says on the ninth floor. And then she woke up and she found two of her children not breathing. So I'm going to play you guys a snippet of a video that I put together of her telling the story. And then, of course, everybody wanted to know where was the father. And so we're going to bring him into the fold as well in this video. So it's about 2 minutes long or so. So we'll watch it and then we'll come back and have a conversation about it. MC Fact, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. So here we go.
They said it was carbon monoxide. Or I don't know what it is. There's so many stories going around. I haven't even got the right story for my own kids. But one thing I do know is they could never be cold in that car. Because I keep gas in that car. I do what I got to do to keep them kids with heat. So it's not hypothermia. My kids could have never froze to death. But I called everybody. I called out of state. I called different cities. I called Detroit. I got on a cam list. I've been on a cam list for a long time. Nobody. Every time I call, they say it's no shelter, no bed. I thought I was doing the right thing. I tried to keep them warm at night. That's it. I was just trying to keep them warm. Nobody helped me. It took me to lose 2 of my kids to get this help. I don't feel good about it. You know I'm homeless. I kept a room this long. I couldn't keep it no more.
They were homeless. Had Tatiana ever reached out asking to?
No, she did not. All she said was, "Can I get them? Can I get them? Just to get them, and can I get them because y'all homeless?" That's two different things.
She said she had been homeless for 3 months.
Say, I saw it. That's what I saw, about 3 months, but she ain't never said nothing to me. Nothing. So all them other sob stories, they can cut all that. She called saying, "Can I make it to the hospital right now?" They got him. I was hoping it was a sick joke, but he just asked, "Can I get him for a couple of days?" But I told her I'm working and all that, and I'm out here. We're not close to each other, so I couldn't. But she knows all my family is right around the corner from her.
Did she reach out to any of your family?
No, she did not. And she knows she could have, like we always used to do.
He says the last time he held his children was a month or two ago, and that they typically FaceTime, moments he will miss.
And there's a, police investigation into this. What is it you would like to see come of this? Obviously, nothing's going to bring back your 9-year-old and your 2-year-old.
Don't even matter to me. Can't get them back, so.
Okay, so let me remove this video. So as again, you guys saw there, that was Tatiana, and she was basically having a conversation, saying that she doesn't think that it was hypothermia, but the authorities are saying they believe that it was hypothermia, which meant that her 2 children froze to death. And, I don't think it'd be that hard if you're sleeping in a van, 10-degree weather. Now, she said what happened was, that she ran out of gas. So the car, cut off, I guess. Now, normally, if you're sleeping in a car and it's cold, you have it running so that the heat, can blow and stuff like that. But it sounds like, again, she ran out of gas. So from what I saw, it sounds like they, I guess, maybe woke up at 12 in the afternoon, and then she discovered that the children weren't breathing. Now, she says that she's a medical assistant or something like that. So she's in the medical field. So she's kind of versed on CPR and things like that. And she tried to administer CPR to the children, but it was to no avail. So again, her mother and her siblings also sleep in the car. Now, she also talked about how she reached out to everybody. In another video, she says she reached out to our friends, but they told her no. She says, "I guess I understand that they wouldn't want, a mother with 5 children, I guess her mom and her siblings, to come stay with them because it's a lot," or whatever the case is. Of course, she reached out to a lot of shelters. She said also outside of the city, there was no help. And as a lot of people also know, that shelters, especially homeless shelters, they're not always that safe. So, maybe she kind of has some qualms about it, but she said she asked everybody she can think of, and nobody helped. Now, of course, since this unfortunate situation has unfolded, you see and hear all these entities saying, "Oh, she could do this. There's these warming centers and, all kind of stuff." I'm not sure how she became homeless, but it's not kind of hard to imagine 5 children, times are hard, inflation is high, rent is high, not just, in California or New York, but everywhere else in between, right? You hear about the rent going up and up and up, but people's income is going down and down and down. So, I'm sure it probably has something to do with that. But let's talk about the father. Darnell is his name. As you saw there, the reporter is asking him questions, did you know, and all of that. And he's like, no, she didn't tell me she was homeless. She asked me to watch the kids, but she didn't say it was because of that, right? She didn't tell me she was homeless. But if she was homeless, she could have asked my family. He says they're around the corner. I don't know from her or from him or what. But she never did reach out to him, but she knew she could do it. But nevertheless, his children are gone. Now, in another video I saw, he said he was, be at the gym and all kind of stuff. So it sounds like maybe he's got his own thing going on. But he also said that he hadn't seen the children in months. So there's a lot going on. Now, I want to say this. I don't want to beat up on the mom. I don't want to beat up on the dad because I know it's easy to do, but there needs to be a conversation here. Both of them are really besides themselves because I think at the end of the day, whether he's a horrible father or she's a mother that's, down on her luck and she's sleeping in a car with her children, nobody wants to wake up to children that have passed on, So my heart goes out to both of them. But we know that the Black woman, from what they say, right, is the most homeless in America. And I guess the Black man would be next. And oftentimes, that Black mother, she does have children out there with her. Now, there's a whole conversation that we can have. So I want to get into you guys' comments and see what you guys think about it. I don't want to really lead the conversation just yet, because I'm bothered by that, because I couldn't imagine, for one, being homeless. I've never been homeless. I can say I've never been close to being homeless, but I just know that if I had a friend that reached out to me and said that I'm out here, with 5 children, and I'm gonna cry. I don't know why. I'm a real live G, but I just know that if I had a friend and she had 5 children and she asked me, could I come stay with you? Sure, it would be inconvenient, especially if you're used to having your home by yourself and, just doing your thing. It would be very inconvenient, but it would be hard for me to be, snug as a bug in a rug in my warm house under my comforter that's too heavy and too hot. I couldn't sleep knowing that I told her no. And she's sleeping in a van with her children and her mom and her sister. Like I said, I don't have my mom anymore. Of course, she's always here with me in spirit. But I would be thinking, wow, I have a mom. And if she was homeless, I wouldn't want somebody to tell me no, your mom couldn't come stay. Because I feel like even if I was in a 1-bedroom, I would make room, But again, I don't know the friend situation. I don't know her situation, but just to hear that children experience that. And at the end of the day, whether it's the mom's fault or it's the dad's fault, the children are innocent in it. And, in America, especially when we hear, and I'm going to get to you guys' comments, but, we hear about all the money that has been given away, during no matter whose administration it is, right? As we know now, Elon Musk and Doge, they're going through the finances of the country. And under the Democrat and Republican watch, they've given a lot of money away to everything, silly stuff, as we've heard, right? Different countries, different causes and things. But then you hear that American citizens are sleeping in the cars where their children are freezing to death and they couldn't get help. So that's kind of what got me choked up a little bit, but I'm going to see what you guys say. Obi Bay, I don't know what happened to her home. I haven't gotten that far into the story, but I just know that she's sleeping in she was. It doesn't sound like she's sleeping in her van anymore, but unfortunately it took this to happen, for people to say, oh, I can help you, so let me get to you guys' comments. Ooh, okay. Let's see. Sunlight, how you doing? I hope you're doing well. Belinda, how you doing? Yes, this is very sad. Hey, Thunder, how are you? I hope you're having a great day. And are you celebrating Valentine's with the ladies? uh, yes, Edgy, you says, Demetri, you are the most friendly podcaster. Oh, I thank you. You know, I try to be. I know sometimes I could go there, but I try my best. But thank you. CJ, you say, oh, with his crusty behind. Yeah, the father, he's taking a butt whooping in the media. You know, he seems to be nonchalant, but if you look very closely, you can see tears dropping down his face. And I don't know what the tears are for. Obviously, because he's lost two of his children. It sounds like they had three together, but obviously the tears is because he lost his children. But the tears could also be because I didn't do what I should have been doing as a father to make sure that my children were not sleeping in a van. And she said, I just asked him to take his three, you know, I guess until she could get it together. And you know, he's saying she did tell him that. I tend to believe that's not true. I think she told him that. I just think he probably had a lot of other stuff to do, you know, besides making sure his children had somewhere warm to stay. So I don't know. Sister Marcella, how you doing? I hope you're doing well. Yes, it's very sad. TG Hamilton, how you doing? Says FaceTime a month ago. Yep. He says, dude, you couldn't do better than that. Yeah. You know, that's the question, right? And Obi Bay says he was scared she would not come back for them kids. Yeah, it could have been, you know, but what do you do? She's sleeping in a van. You know, I totally believe her when she says she told him she was homeless. She's sleeping in a van. You know, there's nothing that you could have been doing in the gym or anything else that could have been more important than making sure your children weren't freezing to death, because two of those children out of the three that he has with her, it froze to death. So it's crazy, you know. Yeah, Mike, it says feel for them Friday. I love the slogans you come up with. Hey, Robert, how you doing? He says tragic. Yes, indeed. Belinda says he should have stepped up more. Yeah, I agree with you totally. You know, MC Fact, he says, but they have shelters for the undocumented. There you go. You know, but she says I reached out to everybody out of town and everything, and she couldn't get no help. That's what she's saying. So it seems like they have help now, but ugh. Yes, as you very sad. TG says, I met a woman at the mall who told me that she works every day but is homeless because she cannot afford rent. Yes. And that's a conversation that a lot of people don't want to have. You know, when you think about homeless people, oh, you got people doing drugs and they doing this and they doing that. It's like, yeah, that's some people. But there are a lot of people, what they call the working poor, the working homeless, people who are working every day, 40 hours a week, but they cannot afford rent. And it is said that most Americans are paying 50% or more than 50% of their income to rent. That's a lot of money going toward just the roof. That doesn't include the lights, the water, the gas, you know, any other thing that you might need to keep the household running. That's just rent. And it's crazy. Something has to give, right? Thundy says, question, this is strange. What happened where a woman with kids and has family on both sides and the father of the kids and his family, and she could still get help? If not, why not? That sounds strange. Yeah, I totally agree. But as you saw, sounds like, you know, her mom and her siblings were also sleeping in the van. So mom's, you know, a side of the family is down and out too. So, you know, but as the father said, she knew she could have went to his family. I just kind of feel like if she knew that, I think she would have went. I don't know what I'm thinking, since she sounded like she was trying to reach out to him for help, you know. Charlie, how you doing? Says this is so heartbreaking. It is. Mrs. Beverly White, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. And Sunlight says, Demetri, are they charging her with the deaths of the children? Doesn't sound like they are. Doesn't sound like they are. I hope not. Is there some negligence there? Yeah. Was it willful? I don't think so, you know, but it doesn't sound like they're charging her. I saw somewhere where I guess maybe they took the children and now they're reunified, so maybe not. Thunder says no one would help, no one at all. That sounds strange. I totally agree with you, but I fail to believe, you know, and believe it or not, Thunder, there's a lot of people who don't have anybody that'll help them. There's some people who say, yeah, I have nobody. Now, I don't know. She burned her bridges or whatever may have happened, but there are people out there say, yeah, I don't have anybody, you know, We often hear it when homeless people get unalived or something like that. Then a family will come forward and say, "Oh gosh, that was our family," and it's like, then why? Now I know, there's some cases where homeless people maybe they have something mentally going on, they don't want to go home, or whatever the case is. But yeah, believe it or not, there's some people who don't have anybody that would help them. Believe it or not. Hey Josh, how you doing? You know what's going on with you? Says I hope all is well. This is so sad. It is. Odd Negroes, how you doing? Um, so hopefully you saw it. But yeah, she is the mother of five, Tatiana Williams, sleeping in a car with her mother and her two siblings, with her five children, and two of them succumbed to the 10-degree weather in Detroit in a parking garage. She ran out of gas and the car stopped running. And I guess they were sleeping. She didn't realize it. Then she woke up and found two of her children not breathing. So Five Rings, how you doing? Says, where was USA? Yes, U.S. aid for this mother. It says, this is just horrible, but illegal criminals come here and get taken care of. This is disgusting. Yes, and that's the department that was shut down, or they're trying to shut down, rather, that Elon and the Department of Doge found giving millions, probably billions of dollars to all kind of stuff, different countries, and just things that, I don't know, it's questionable. But you got homeless people here in America, American citizens, that couldn't get any of that money, Charlie says, at least give them money for a hotel. How can a family turn children away? Yeah, it sounds like she was paying for a hotel, but she said she couldn't do it any longer. So that's why they ended up sleeping in the van. And as Edgy says, how a developed country like the U.S. has those homeless issues, right? And turning a blind eye. And I know Detroit is ran by the Democrats. They have a Democrat mayor, Mike Duggan or something like that is his name. It's been ran by the Democrats for a very long time. But a lot of those cities are sanctuary cities, and they help everybody else but the people who need the help. So there's a lot of explaining that needs to go on. And OB says, did her, so I answered that. I don't know if her house burned down. And MC Fact says there's something else going on here with the mother and dad. I got to wonder what the dad was doing. Yeah, I guess we'll maybe find out, but right now we don't really know. Laura Toxic, how you doing? Says, excuse my ignorance. I don't get how they always claim Black people are the most poor, unhealthy, etc., but we are only 13% of the population. How can we be the most with 13%? Because we're speaking about disproportionately. So when you're speaking about disproportionately, yes, we are 13%, give or take, right? Depending on who you believe. And let's say white people, I guess they're about 60 something percent, give or take. So when you talk about disproportionately, our numbers are high for being 13% in juxtaposition to them, right? Being the most population, but our numbers probably are even or more than theirs. So it's disproportionate, not even, but more, if that makes any sense. And I probably confused, and I didn't mean to. Robert says, don't know what to say. Yes, it does leave you speechless. Charlie says the dad was at a gym. Yep, that's what he said. He was at the gym. Hey, Georgetta, how you doing? Obi says, how old is the mother and her sister? Don't sound like they're very old. I don't know. Maybe early 30s, give or take, something like that. I think 33, if I'm not mistaken. Nashawn says, looks like he didn't have custody. I don't know what her motive in the first place. It is strange. Okay. Thunder says, what happened where the entire family would turn her and her kids away, not just one or two on one side, did from all sides, and no friends. What the hell? Yeah. So it sounds like he's saying she could have asked his family, but she didn't. Her family sounds like they were in the van with her. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's just kind of the dynamics of it are weird. I would agree with you. Sister Marcella says, what happened to the other two kids? This is making me want to cry. So there's 5 children. Guess the other 3 are okay, but 2 of them did, for what the investigators are saying, froze to death, hypothermia. So, and hey, Corey, how you doing? Yes, very sad. Larry L, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. MC Fact says the dad should have took the kids to his place. Yeah, she didn't ask me. That's what he said. She never told me. She told me to get the kids, but she didn't tell me why I needed to get them. That's what he said. It's like, you don't visit with your children often, or, I don't know. He definitely has some explaining to do. Like I said, I don't want to beat up on them too bad. I don't think it was ever his will that the children die. Because he said when she called him, he thought it was a sick joke. When she said that they had died or whatever, what happened, he said, she thought she was playing with him or whatever, but then obviously it was real. Softer side of CC, how you doing? Says scared that she wouldn't come back with his children. He shouldn't care how long they stayed. I agree with you, especially if they're homeless, right? They stay until they can find a place to stay. And then you as the father, and listen, I know that he's the father of 3 children. I don't know where the other father of the other children are or were, but I would think that he would try all he can to help her get stable. That's what I would think. Thunder says, DK, is it possible he was trying to hold it together to answer the question as a black man? If you cry, it's fake. If you don't, you're a heartless monster. No matter what, a black man can't win. No, I mean, I agree with you. That's why I said I don't want to beat up on him too bad. He was very emotional. I saw tears dropping down his face. I don't wish that on nobody. I don't care how horrible of a parent you may or may not be, mother or father. But in this case, I think there's more he could have done. He's kind of saying, she didn't tell me, but you didn't see your children, for 2 months or so. It's just kind of, we can't let him off the hook. You know what I mean? But again, I'm not trying to beat up on him either. I Negro say we need a rent bill. Landlords says we need a rent bill. Okay, got you. Landlords have made it impossible to live comfortably. Yeah, they're greedy. And then in some cases their insurance is going up too. So they're trying to cover the cost of the insurance and things like that. But in a lot of cases, they're just greedy. Even in Los Angeles with the fires, we heard of landlords are rent gouging, just like skyrocketing the rent and stuff like that, Airbnb. So they're just greedy for no reason, Nashani says, because the court should have let him have the kids instead. This is odd and crazy work. Lord have mercy. Them are some beautiful kids. Yes, indeed. Robert says, can't speculate on the story yet, and I'm trying not to. I'm just trying to go with what I saw. Essence, how you doing? Says, we all have to step up. There are family members who see other families struggling, but fail to see that they need to lend a helping hand. I got mine. Is today's attitude. Yep, you're so right. There's a lot of people with that attitude. Ain't my problem. What that got to do with me, And it's sad. Hey, Reggie, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. He says, can't chat much as I'm on the road, but tuned in. Stay safe. And Essence says, there's a lot of women in this predicament. Do not judge. Thus, he says, do not judge. Homeless is an epidemic with our people now living out of their vehicle. Oh, yeah, never would judge. K-Mac, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Let's see. Negro says New Orleans spent $17.5 million to move the homeless into a warehouse temporarily for the Super Bowl. That money could have been used to give them a permanent housing. This country is a mess. Yep, because they want them out of sight, right? We don't want to see them. We got to move them out of the way so people can come in for the Super Bowl and, not have to see what really happens. Yes, K-Mac, thumbs up are free. Thank you. Thunder says this man just lost a child and they are still trying to paint him as the villain. The black man can only be seen as a villain and never the victim. He lost a child. Maybe he's still processing what happened. I mean, I don't necessarily say he's the villain because at the end of the day, it was there's a conglomerate of things that happened. It wasn't just him. It wasn't just her. It wasn't just the system. It's a combination of all of it, I'm not painting him as the villain. Like I said, I don't know what it's like to lose a child, and I never want to know that. I would love to go before my child. You know what I mean? So I would never paint him as the villain. I just think, everybody's probably a victim in this. The mom not being able to properly care for her children. The father, for whatever reason, he's not properly able to properly care for his children, whether it was he wanted to or financial. And I would probably imagine it was financial and, whatever. The system just neglected to help her friends. So there's a lot of blame to go around if we're going to do that. I don't think it's one-sided. That's kind of what I want to say. Nashine said that is child negligence. Yeah, it's negligence to some degree. And I think it's, like I said, on everybody's behalf. Yes, Reggie, very tragic. Essence says hotels for migrants, but even Black hotel housekeepers can't get rooms on a site like migrants. Yep. Hey, Sherry, how you doing? It is my pleasure. Yes, I saw that you did send me that story, but I had already covered it for a different channel. But yes, thank you so much for sending that to me. I guess my phone thought I was talking to it. All right, I'm gonna skip down a little bit. Negro says, and notice during the migrant crisis, cities begged homeowners to take them in, but it don't do that for homeless. Wow, yeah, and they were willing to do it because they know the city was gonna pay a lot of money. Queen Adaya, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Stephen, how you doing? Marcella says here in Sacramento, a person opened their home to a homeless person. The homeless person lived there for about a year. Later, the homeless person started in them. A neighbor was concerned and went and checked. Yeah, unfortunately, that kind of stuff happens, but preferably move people in, right? Not strangers. I wouldn't move a stranger in my house, and I'm not gonna even lie to y'all, right? But if I had a friend that was in a way like that, yeah, like I said, yes, it's inconvenient. Yeah, but what I have, you have. I would never be able to sleep at night knowing you're in your car, so absolutely. Charlie say so you talking to somebody else, and Odd Negroes says Dimitri, empathy and compassion is of a saint. Love that wish more people were like this. Yeah, me too. I know sometimes I could be tough, uh, but that kind of stuff really, really it bothers me because one of my favorite quotes is there, but for the grace of God, there go I, because I couldn't imagine if I was in her situation that everybody that I turned to told me no, or I can't help you. And then I can only imagine being a mom and the things that will go through your mind. And even a dad, right? Because there's dad that's in that situation too. But the things that's going through your mind, you've tried everything you could. You've called everybody you could call. You're out of money. You're out of resources. And then you're looking, on the back of the van and you see your babies there and you see your mom and your siblings. And it's just a hopeless place to be. So I couldn't imagine, and then something like that happens. It's a lot to process, and something you'll never, ever forget as long as you live. So yeah, Robert says, hope their future is less traumatic and they can recover somewhat. I totally agree. Sherry says, it's sad when I found out how much money our government wasted on other countries. Every American would have been able to have their own home. We will help others while our citizens and babies die in a car. Shame on America. Shame on her family. Totally. Marcella says, a friend of mine wanted to open their house to a homeless person, but changed their mind because of this type of situation. She had the feeling that they may come in and try to take advantage. Yeah, sometimes that happens, but what can you do? Ultimately, you would hope that they could get help from somewhere like the government, right? That has the money, because they help everybody else. And it is proven that they have the money. So that's kind of like null and void. They have the money. Those Department of Government Efficiency, they're proving that the money is there, but it's just there for the wrong things. Range, rather, he says FBA community is at least 25% of this country. 13% has been a number for more than 40 years. Our numbers are, he said, kept down for a reason. It's all political. Yeah. And as I say, I used to work for the census. And a lot of times people don't identify with what you can see that they are, but they'll identify with something else, but you can't tell them that they're not that. You have to just put what they say. So some of that is the reason as well. And Obey says, my eyes tear up when it's very cold outside. I got you. Nashawn says, I believe she had all the help she wanted and didn't want to get it help. I highly doubt they turned down some babies. I go by experience. A lot of women are selfish and they put their kids in hostile environment. Well, I'm gonna go by what she said. And she said she asked everybody and she couldn't find nobody. So are there some women like that? Yeah, but she said that wasn't her situation. So I don't know. Thunder says, where were the two other women in the van with children? It says, did the other women not have families and friends? That's 3 adults, 6 children, families, and still no help from no one really. That isn't right. So it sounds like all 5 of the children were hers, and then she had a mom and her 2 siblings there with her. Not sure how old the siblings are, but that's who were in the van with her. CJ says, no villain, but come on, he obviously wasn't present. Yeah, I mean, like I said, that is true. Latasha, how you doing? He says it's hard because so many are barely making it themselves and trying to help someone can interrupt your finances. That's true. But if I got a bologna sandwich, you're gonna get some of it. That's just kind of how I am. I mean, I don't know. I can't speak for anybody else. I get it. It is hard, but it's hard to be homeless. I'd imagine. Like I said, I've never been homeless. Never been close to being homeless. I did have a house fire. Burnt down the house. Lost everything I had. My truck, everything. But so I lived with my mom for a minute. So I don't know if I was homeless per se, but I didn't have a home of my own, but never to the point of sleeping in my car or on the street. So MC Fact, and I say Corey says both parties are at fault. Yes, and MC Fact says they did the kids a disservice. They knew they couldn't afford having multiple children. Yes, it's horrible what happened to the two deceased children. Yeah, it sounds like she, had a job. She was she's a medical assistant or something like that. Um, but things happen, people who come from the best of circumstances, who are started off wealthy or had good jobs. And we're going to start to see a lot of that. There's a lot of people who got laid off that had very good jobs at the government, right? So things change. People didn't always start off horrible or in poverty. I'm not sure what her situation was, but things happen to people all the time. You hear stories of people who were doing well, who had it all, and something unfortunate happened and they lost it all. So I'm not one to try to judge people because, as I say, there but for the grace of God, there go I, which means it could have been me, but it's not. So I'm never going to be in a position to judge somebody. Look at you, you woulda, coulda, shoulda, did. Not, it's not going to be me because I don't never want it to be me, and I would never want anybody to say any of that stuff to me. God forbid if I get down on my luck. So, and I'm not saying that's what you're saying, but I'm just saying that. K Mac says, come on, family. We can do better than that. Let's get those thumbs up. Thank you. Thank you. Brooklyn Best. How you doing? Long time no see. Says, we could just use condoms. I know that's not the answer people want. Yeah, we can. But, what do you do with the children when they're here? So, yeah. Well, thank you, CJ. Frank, how you doing? Long time no see. I hope you're doing well. Says they voted for him, now they're crying. Who is this they? And if you're talking about Trump, the homeless situation was like that under the Biden administration. In fact, it was getting worse. The Biden administration spent billions of dollars helping migrants while people, predominantly Black Americans, were sleeping on the street. So it's not a Trump thing. It's not a Republican thing. I wouldn't even say it's a Democrat thing, but since the last 4 years, that's what the Democrats were cutting for. So yeah, I know it's easy to try to blame everything on Trump. Come on, let's keep it real. A lot of these things happen in democratically ran cities where the Democrats are at the helm. It's sanctuary cities where they are like, we're going to welcome in migrants and we're not going to turn them away. We're going to give them all the resources. But then you got people who are residents of the city were being turned away and told no. So I think trying to blame Trump for stuff like this, I think is kind of silly and nonsensical. You know what I mean? Queen Adia says the sad part is people will extend an offer to help, but when the going gets tough, people tend to go or become unavailable. Yep. What had happened was, right? Chantel, how you doing? Says health and riches to us all. Yes, indeed. Oh, did my thing skip up? I think it did. Hold on, let me see. I thought I was at the bottom. I was like, yes, I'm about to get out of here because I said I was going to get out of here early. Okay, here we go. Let me get back to it. Okay, there we go. Carrie, how you doing? Says I brought strangers into my house, but I never do it again. I get it. I totally understand. Not strangers, preferably somebody you know. JJ, how you doing? Says all these sanctuary cities are running big deficits now due to illegal immigrants. Taxes are jumping through the roof. Yeah, they're trying to raise people property taxes to pay for it. It's like, what? Well, we told you not to do it in the first place, but here you are, right? Charlie, let's say you're talking to Thunder. So she's it says okay, got it. So you're saying Thunder was 39-year-old woman with her 4 kids. Also, the woman's mother and her other 2 teenage children. Total of 8 homeless people are living in the van. So yeah, it was 5 children for what I heard. Hey, Tracy, how you doing? Long time no see. Hope you're doing well. CJ said, yeah, that's true. People were criticizing her for not shedding tears, but she is probably in so much shock. Yeah, she was crying. She definitely was, crying tears. Yeah, I saw her crying. I don't know what they were talking about. Yeah, Tracy, I come on Fridays. I try to anyway. Frank says Elon's son told them to shut your mouth. Yeah, Elon's son sounds like he needs to be disciplined just a little bit. That's not cute. I see a lot of people bragging about and posting that Elon's son said some horrible things, whether they're true or not, to Trump, but he's a child, and a child should stay in a child's place. regardless of who it is, you know. So I don't know. Uh, Queen Adaya says people have no idea the failure spirit some people feel they when they lack for their children. Yes. JJ says Biden Harris never gave an explanation of why they opened the borders up. Nope. Thunder says I could see someone turning a man away when he is in, but a woman and her kids in the cold. What the hell happened for someone to see a woman that they know see this and still say no? Just a lot of people out there that don't give a damn. That I mean, I know maybe Thunder, you live in utopia, but in the real world, there's a lot of people's like, I would, but and it's their right to do that. I'm not trying to demonize them, but we do live in a world where people are like, no, you can't come stay here. You'll be all right. So Black Ice, how you doing? It says, unfortunately, this is how life goes, living under capitalism. Very true. Queen of Diet says they have shown they have the money. Look up Ukraine. Oh, absolutely. Carrie says U.S. government help other countries in order to get in land to take control of their resources. And Sherry, he says, did you see Congress tell us of the money they spent? Just crazy. They were even helping the alphabet community in other countries. They even got, I saw that Sesame Street for Afghanistan's Afghans, rather. He says just stupid things they wasted the money on that could have been reparations. They have plenty of money, right? If that, he said, if wasn't that many of us they here, why do everyone need us to come out to fight for them? Yeah, I saw that. All the money they were spending on stuff that's just like, really? We got money for that? And Tracy says they will turn down women with children. I witnessed it myself. Yeah, it's not unusual. K-Mac, thank you for asking everybody to do thumbs up. Charlie, let's say talk to CJ. Carrie says, I've been outdoors. I have been outdoors with 4 children and no help until a friend took us in. There you go. And I hope that things are better for you now. I really do. Terry Price, how you doing? It's my pleasure. And thank you for being here. Thunder says, were all the kids from the same man? And if not, none of the other kids' fathers and families wanted to help. Yeah, so it sounds like 3 were from him, and I guess the 2 from another man or other men. I'm not sure. And they didn't say what the other father situation was. I didn't get that part. I don't know if anybody asked. I'm sure they did, but just probably not on camera. But yeah, I think it's a fair question. Where were those fathers or that father or their families? I agree. I totally agree. They should be brought into the conversation. Tracy says that father placed all blame on her. Yeah, he kind of was like, I didn't know, but I didn't see my children for 2 months and that kind of stuff. So it just kind of sounds like for whatever reason, he was just checked out. And that's a fact. He was just checked out for whatever reason, Thunder says in this day and age, this shouldn't have happened. This is tragic. Totally. And Sean says, what's crazy is women get these kids and want to do everything by themselves. This topic pissing me off right now. I'm done. Well, I'm sorry that you're mad, but you'd really be mad if that was your situation. And I don't know what her situation is, and you talk about as far as women and kids do everything by themselves. I don't know. Some women want to do things by themselves, and sometimes it's harmful. Some women don't want to do everything by themselves. I think some of everything is true, but it's not absolute. So don't get too mad because that could be you and it's not. Beverly says, we are 1 paycheck away. Come on now from being homeless. Oh, think twice. It's just another day for you and me in paradise. Come on now. Chantel, how you doing? Charlie says, Demetri, I'm sorry you experienced a fire. Yeah. Lost everything I ever owned in life, except for my purse. I salvaged that, my computer and my phone. I literally ran outside in just my t-shirt and my underwear. No shoes, no nothing. Truck got burnt up in the dry, everything, So it's a very humbling experience to lose everything. But thank God, I had other places to go, right? I was far from being homeless. But to lose everything you have, it really rearranges your understanding of what's really important in life. Material things or not, which is why I don't collect a lot of things anymore. I collect books and certain things, but not like I used to. Lost all my daughter's baby pictures and, my family's pictures of my great grandmother. And it was a lot that I lost, but I have those memories. So yeah, I get it. Asha, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. It says, want to do? She asked for help. Not sure what that means, but how you doing? Nashawn says, and if he's at the gym, he's probably stressed over the kids not being seen because of the mother. Okay. Asha says she asked him to come get the kids. That's what she's saying, right? Brother Don says, I allowed a friend, a quote unquote, to stay with me. I understand why his family would not bother with him. Not only did he attempt to take over my place, he broke in and stole my jewelry, chains, rings, and watches. Yeah, he's a horrible person. And unfortunately, yeah, people do get burned by helping other people. But the intention was there in your heart. And people who do stuff like that, karma and God will catch up to them. Somebody helped you out the goodness of their heart, and you decided to do something like that. Yeah, you're gonna pay for that. So, but I'm sorry that happened to you. K-Max says we also have homeless veterans. Yep, homeless veterans who fought for this country and they on the street. And OB says Trump, not the mayor of Detroit. Stop. Exactly. Thunder says, what happened to the church? Were there no church that could help? This should not have happened. I totally agree. But a lot of times nowadays the church is defunct, right? The benevolent fund, we ain't got it. We clean out of money. But come back next month, and see if we can help you, sister so-and-so or brother so-and-so. We'll see if we can help you. As the pastor is jumping into a big giant shiny car and gators. And he ain't missing a meal and all of that, but they turn people away, but they don't want you to turn your tithes and offerings away though. But yeah, where is the black church? The white church? Any church? I don't know. What would Jesus do, right? Marcella says this is a humanity problem, totally. Carrie says all my children was by my husband, the divorce, and then the planet fell down. It happens, right? It does happen. Life happens, and it's unexpected a lot of times. Like, Miss White said, we're all a paycheck away, and if not 2, 3 away from that happening. So Tracy said it was total 7 living in the van. Yep. CJ says LOL facts. He's a grown folks conversation. SB, how you doing? Says Los Angeles is doing blacks horrible. Black men are the most on the streets. Yes. Los Angeles, California is the most homeless black population, but in the United States of America in general, black people are the most homeless. But the Los Angeles, yeah, it's bad. Mikey says Elon's learned from him. Robert says the story isn't an antidote to the sugar sweet commercial. Come on now. Valentine message. Love is not just for Valentine's. That's exactly right. It's year around, all day long. And French Coco, how you doing? K-Max says, where are all the churches and preachers at? Yep. And the car dealer, I like that. How you doing? Says penniless people make 5 children. What idiocracy? Says, where are the fathers? Yes, but again, I don't know if she started out penniless. Maybe that wasn't her case. Maybe it was. Yeah, I get where you're going. If you can't afford to take care of the babies, you shouldn't make the babies. Shout out to Michael Jackson, right? I totally agree with that, but I'm not sure what her situation was. Don says, remember how Maxine Waters told the homeless to go home? Yeah, go home. We'll get back to you. Leave your number. Okay, Maxine. Robert says, love how you get me thinking, Demetra. Oh, well, thank you. Tracy says they have plenty of money except for when it comes to us black folks. Yep. Another thing, too, we should throw into the fold. We have plenty of money except for when it comes to us. We give 97% of our money away, right? That's something to think about. Hey, Cynthia, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Corey, thank you for the donation. Love and appreciate you for that. Mr. South Carolina, how you doing? It says, you were just saying prior to today about family having insurance. Now they have to bury family and family members. Yeah. And did they have insurance? I hope they did. But if you're homeless, one of the things you probably would have a hard time paying for is life insurance, but it remains to be seen. Tracy says she had 4 children. 2 of the other children were her mother's. Okay, got you. He saw the children on FaceTime. He said himself, yeah, I thought they said 5 children, but okay, maybe it's 4. All right, so let me skip down a little bit so I could catch up because I got 10 minutes Asha says, I heard the funerals are covered. Okay, I'm glad to hear that, but sad to hear it too, right? Sherry says, dumbass, no one never knows what's going to happen to them. I feel like this woman did everything she could for her babies. I could not believe the stuff that's coming out of these people's mouths. Really, yeah, I've seen some pretty crazy comments, not on here, but just other places. And it is sad. MC Fact says, plus the dad kept having kids without marrying her. Yeah, that's another problem. We need to settle down to a good choice, right? Don't give a person a baby, more than one baby, if y'all not gonna get married. It happens sometimes, but two, three, and four, and five babies out of wedlock. Yeah, that deserves a conversation, you know. CJ says, I understand folks asking about where the church was when this happened. Did she mention being connected to one? Can a church help if they are unaware of her circumstances? Yeah, that is true. I don't know if she reached out to a church. She said she reached out to a lot of people and organizations, and she couldn't find any help. Five Ring says these kids have four grandparents. Where were they at in this situation? A lot of questions need to be answered. Well, one of them was in a van with her. Softer side, it says the funerals are covered by funeral home. I'm glad to hear that. Tracy says the mother herself said, "Oh, now two of my children." And comment cut off. Thunder says, DK, my apologies. This upsets me beyond words. This is just horrible. Do they have a GoFundMe or something? I'm not sure if they have a GoFundMe, but as they're saying, it sounds like the funerals are covered. But I would imagine maybe they would have a GoFundMe. It is upsetting. And I get where you're coming from, Thunder. I know you're not assigning blame, or you're just trying to make sense of it, as I think a lot of people are, you know? Tracy said the father said she didn't say they were homeless. That's why he didn't pay her no mind when she asked him to get the children. Yeah. And maybe she didn't say, maybe she didn't want to say, maybe she thought she'd lose the children for good. So there's a whole lot of things that could have transpired during that conversation, but you ain't seen your kids in 2 months. I don't know. I don't know why you didn't see the kids. Maybe he couldn't. I don't know. It's just a lot of unanswered questions. Akila, how you doing? He says her crooked cousin who didn't take her in when she was homeless is now monitoring and running her GoFundMe. Yeah. You all up in the cut now, huh, cuz? You all up in the cut. But yeah, she couldn't stay at your place, but now all of a sudden she good. It's kind of strange. All right, so let me skip on down. Asha, you says the father also said she didn't give him a reason to pick up the kids. Yeah. Cynthia, thank you so much for the donation. Love it. Appreciate you for that. Says, hey, Queen, thank you for having passion and addressing the young mother situation. I will be putting a protest together in support of this young mother. Hopefully she will not be charged. Yeah, I hope they don't charge her either. Because it's like, what else can you do to her? Losing children that way, it's bad enough. But to charge her, I mean, she doesn't need those problems. Definitely don't think she did it on purpose. I know this, they're saying they're investigating. It sounds like they determined it was hypothermia, but what else could they do to her? Lock her up? I mean, she's already going to be living in hell for the rest of her life, mentally and emotionally, due to the loss of her children. Under circumstances, I'm sure she was fighting not to be in, right? So yeah, I'm with you on that one. Five Rings, you say 75,000 homeless people in Los Angeles County alone, and 55 are black. Don't believe me? Look it up. No, 55% rather. I believe you. You ain't got to tell me. I know. I'm from Southern California, so trust me, I know. Softer Side says facts on the church. They probably wouldn't have. They would have told her they will pray for her. Yeah, I don't need your prayers. I need a place to stay. Right. Tracy says I'm cheap. I'm not giving 97% of nothing away. You and me both. So, all right, let's see. I'm getting to the bottom. Nashawn says, women will lie, and it's sad that the kids are gone, but women are selfish. It's phenomenal. I get it. I don't think this is a time to blame, women. I get it. Sometimes, we have issues with men and women, and, but we can't put that on every man or every woman. As I always said, I've dated nothing but brothers, and brothers, did me dirty. But I don't blame all brothers, right? I don't say, I ain't black men, I don't do that. So we can't do that with women, because you ain't dated all women, and all women do not believe or are selfish, right? So just kind of want to put that out there. And the Queen of Diet says, unforeseen circumstances can change your life forever. A husband dies and the wife becomes a widow. You lose your job and wind up homeless. Be careful of the words spoken. Come on now. Absolutely. Just us. How you doing? Black first to you. Says, is there GoFundMe for that? I'm not sure. There probably is. You probably look on online, uh, Google the situation, maybe GoFundMe, and I'm sure there is one. But somebody did say the um, funerals are taken care of. Akila says the mayor of Detroit stated that she made one phone call to the shelter and never called back. At the time she called, she was staying with family members. It's like, well, how many calls does she need to make? Sounds like maybe they told her no, right? I don't know. Maybe they were full. I don't know. The art of the day. How you doing? He says some women refuse to marry the man that they have multiple children with, even when he's proposed marriage to them. Yep, some women do that. Yep. Negroes, it says the government can end homelessness if they really wanted to. They choose not to because money is being mismanaged and stolen. Totally. Faye, how you doing? Says all of you asking where's the family? Maybe she's the one with the issues. Yeah, it could be true. Maybe she's burned all her bridges. Yep. Maybe she didn't need to keep having babies. Take from experience. It says, talking from experience, what about you? Yeah, that's true. Could have been her. She could have been the issue. There's a whole lot of things that could be true. I totally agree with you. Sharon, how you doing? Says he took no part in raising those children. These women need to stop having kids with men who don't have anything going on. Yep, I totally agree with you on that. Yeah. I always tell y'all that's why I have one. Because I was not going to stay with her father. We were young, and I just didn't want to, have multiple children. That's just me by different men. I always thought I was just going to have one, and I ended up raising three of my brothers. So it ended up with four anyway. Thank you, Nishan, for asking people to hit the like button. Love and appreciate you for that. Brother Don says that money make you good. All right. Our Negro says, again, this is why we need reparations. We need a lump sum and a monthly payment for 40 years. I could dig it. Dre, how you doing? Says, nobody talk about how women will sometimes keep the father away from the kids. Perhaps she didn't want to lose custody. Yeah, and I believe that's probably what it is. Maybe she didn't want to tell him I'm homeless because, yeah, maybe she would lose custody. I totally get that. So I agree. That happens. French Coco, he says, it seems that a lot of children are being failed in the city of Detroit. Oh, God. Naziah Harris, the 9-year-old boy, his body was found. Now this too, yeah. What's going on in Detroit, right? What is going on? Cynthia says, I'm going to definitely need the support from my FBAs. Yes, indeed. Marcella says, if we need to be grateful every day. Yep. Thunder says, Demetri K., let me state this. I'm not blaming a mother or father. No, I don't think that you are. It says this just seems like there are too many gaps. Were there no societal safety nets anywhere at all? Well, they say there are, but then it tends not to be that way. But there's safety nets for migrants. Sherry says, when it comes to our babies, we're not going to lie. If they need a place to stay, I wouldn't give a damn if me and my and the father weren't together. But I'm not going to let my babies be cold. Who are these? He says, bowls, old men, and your comment section. Oh, all these bozo men. I think they're just asking questions, and I don't think it's unfair that they're asking these questions because I think that's kind of where everybody's going with it. And I would say that they're being pretty cool. They're asking questions. There's nothing wrong with asking questions. But as I said, we don't want to put the blame all on everybody because I think it's an everybody problem. So yeah. Eileen, how you doing? Says this is so sad. Do they have a GoFundMe? I'm sure that they do. It's somewhere out there. I'm gonna skip down. Mary Jane, how you doing? Says stop having all these kids. I'm sure she was always broke, ripped to the kids and the reckless parents. Okay, got you. Dre says, I wonder how many illegal immigrants were in those Detroit shelters. Probably quite a few. The art of today, he says, hello, beautiful sister Demetria. Hello, he says, feeling under the weather today, but always good to be here. Well, I hope that you're feeling much better. Yeah, this weather is kind of weird too. Our Negro says, we make bad choices and sometimes life isn't fair, but our government is supposed to provide a safety net. Yeah, they do it for everybody else. So they should do it for the citizens, the taxpayers, because indeed, if the mom was working, sure, she's paying taxes, right? And if I'm going to pay taxes, and I do, I'd rather that go to people who need it, that are American citizens, Black people, preferably, and American citizens in general, but not anyone else. Nashawn says, so if someone has to go to jail, who will they lock up, the man or the woman? Probably the mom, because the children were in the care of the mom, if that has to be a thing, right? Tracy said the father is living with his girlfriend. Yeah. And sometimes people have significant others. It's like, you can't bring them here. I'm assuming she knew he had children. I don't know. So I don't know. Robert says, I'm projecting pride into the story. I can see me being too proud, then having the fall. Okay. So you mean being too proud to ask for help? Is that what you're saying? Okay. Marcelo says, my husband and I decided to have one, just one. We're not going to raise children in the hood. We didn't want to repeat the cycle. Got you. Yeah. You know, no shade to nobody who has kids, a lot of kids. That wasn't going to be me. But I ended up raising more than I had anyway. So God knew better than me. Tracy says she is not the only one living in a van now due to poverty. Come on now. There's a whole lot of people living in vans, cars, and cardboard boxes, and a whole lot of things. Marcella says sometimes we break the chain, and we got to. Cynthia says, but the immigrants are getting free housing and many other resources off the taxpayers' backs here in Michigan. Yep, all over the United States, right? Amazon woman, how you doing? Says Jane, joining late, but hello, and hello to you. Sherry says, I hope everybody that's in the comment section that's saying something negative, and y'all probably in YouTube cannot see Sherry, so I'll put her up. Saying something negative about this woman. This never happens to them or no one in their family, because you never know. Have a damn heart. The babies are gone. This woman is going through hell. Yes, and I would probably, I would definitely say the father's going through hell too. For whatever reason, he didn't step in. Again, I don't think he wanted the results to be his children dying. So, you know, that's why I said I'm not going to beat up on him. I could, but I'm not. Creed Chapman, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. He says, I'm from Detroit. That situation isn't unusual because it's too much greed and cold-hearted folks here in the D. It truly is cold in the D. Yeah, that's what he said. It was 10 degrees on the night in question when she was sleeping in a van with her family. Yes, indeed. And the main one, how you doing? Says, as a 53-year-old man, I have offered my place to a 25-year-old single mom about to be evicted. My only rules to leave it like you found it and no smoking in the house. I would let her and her children have my bedroom. Well, and you know, that's very good of you, and you know, lucky for her that you were able to help her. Hopefully she abides by the rules, right? But thank God that you were there to offer her some assistance, and you know, hopefully she can get on her feet. Creed just says, that's why I didn't mind when I saw ICE in Detroit arrest the migrants. Wow. I don't know if y'all saw Trump on the White House. They posted Happy Valentine or something like that. And they posted a picture of Trump and Tom Homan together. Talk about roses are red, violets are blue. Something like if you're illegal migrant, we're coming for you. I'm like, come on now, y'all tripping. Oh my God. Anyway, the main one, she said she was grown and not going to live under no rules like she was a child. Well, then let her knowledge take her where knowledge is going to take her. You tried. Sky Dancer, how you doing? French Coco says, if we're going to complain about how much money goes to immigrants instead of the black folks in need, remember who the majority of us voted for. Yep. And on that note, I'm going to get out of here. I've overstayed my welcome, but I love and appreciate y'all for being here with me to talk about this very unfortunate situation. But I definitely will be, you said it was recent. Okay. I'll be back here on Sunday. I don't know what we'll talk about, but I'm sure it will be interesting. As always, I love and appreciate you guys' company. And if you guys see fit to help the channel, there's ways to do that at the bottom. PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, super chats, and everything else in between. So in the meantime, I will see you guys later. You guys have a great rest of your day, and happy Valentine's to you if that's your thing. Spend it with the one you love. But remember, love is 365, not just one day. Anyway, I'll see you guys later. Peace.